Good afternoon, everybody. Good to see you all. I'd like to welcome you, Collin, back to Augusta again for your third Masters.
Thank you.
And to congratulate you also for your great 2021. The beginning, of course, with Royal St. George. You were also, I think, the Olympic Games. Did well also in the Ryder Cup, and of course we're wound up with the road to Dubai. That's quite a year since we last met here in Augusta.
A lot has happened.
It has. Let me ask you one question before I turn it over to the rest of the organization. This would be you've had 8 competitive rounds here in competition in the last couple of Masters. What have you learned about the course and your game in this course?
I think the biggest thing is, and I say it a lot, but it's true here, is I need to play my game. You hear how much you need to hit draws and you got to hit it high and you got to do certain things, but that's what I did wrong the past 2 years. Pretty much my week prep the 2 years ago and last year was, how do I hit a draw? How do I hit a high draw? How do I do this? This year was a little different. This year I kind of just made sure everything was finely tuned, and I go out there and figure out how to play the course to my strengths, and that's the biggest thing that I've learned. I think overall, speed and putting is going to be really key out here. I mean, you can't be hitting things 5 feet, 6 feet by and 3-putting. There's just shots you're going to give away that a lot of guys who are going to be near the top of the lead aren't going to do for the week.
Well, thank you. Let me open it up to the organization. Let's see who I got here. Jimmy,
yes.
Is that you? It is.
Hi, Collin. Can you tell me what is your first Masters memory as a fan?
Probably rewatching Tiger's '97 win. It's for me. Yeah, I'd say that's my first actual memory. I think going back, the most memorable everything I remember where I was, everything was probably 2019 when Tiger won. I was in college. We were sitting all together. We were watching it. That Sunday was booked out to do nothing other than watch TV. And that's really special, because normally I just watch with my parents. We'll just be home on a Sunday. You kind of watch, the rest, the kind of late half of the back nine, even a little bit parts of the beginning, but you just have it on, and I'm not really zoned in on focusing on every shot. But 2019 was where we were all just glued to the couch and glued to the TV.
Where were you in a dorm room? You remember where you were?
We had a bunch of guys on the golf team that rented a house, and we were right there. So I lived with my roommate a block away, so we'd go there every day. But it was just, we set up as many chairs, couches, everything, and then we had a massive TV. I think they bought off, I don't know where they bought it, but I'm glad it worked.
Let's see, Jeff.
Collin, your overall impressions, I know you played this morning, of what you saw on the golf course and some of the changes to the golf course at, there's several greens and also maybe specifically the 11th hole.
Well, I haven't played 11 yet. I did kind of 10 and then I hopped to 15. I think the biggest thing is actually seeing how firm this course is. This is probably the best shape I've seen it in. Over the past 2 years that I've played. Look, the first one I played was in November, and it wasn't, I think we can all agree, it wasn't the best and tip top of what Augusta really probably wanted or what we could have seen. But so far today, it's as good as it can be. And, I know there's some rain, I know there's some weather in the forecast, but if they can somehow cover it up, this is the first time I've seen roll in the fairways. The past 2 Masters I've played, I've worried about mud balls. And maybe that's a bad word to say it here. but it's true. Out here, 15, when I played 15, the tees were back. The wind was kind of helping, but I got more roll than I've seen ever. And it's kind of cool to see the course like that, because you really have to pinpoint and place your way out here, or play your way out here, strategically with all the slopes and really, making sure you miss in the right spots.
What did you have into 15?
I was behind the left trees, which, I moved one out and we were 225 to the back pin. So, that's up there with where I was the past 2 years, just because I got that bounce. But if we, you get rain and they soften up, who knows where the wind and everything will play out.
David.
Yeah, Collin, I thought your opening answer was interesting about playing your game to fit the golf course, or rather taking your game and playing the golf course as it is, if you're going to say what your game is, I mean, what would that be? How would you actually describe that in terms of shot shapes or things of that nature?
I mean, in a small package, it's really just hitting cuts, hitting fairways. I mean, that's as simple as it gets, right? You know, those are my strengths. Irons are my strength. How do I stick to that? And I remember when I came in November, I mean, other than one, I mean, 2, I tried hitting a draw for no reason. You don't have to hit a draw. 3, I tried hitting a draw, which makes no sense. 5, I played it out right. 7, I tried to hit a draw. 9, I tried to hit a. So I mean, that's more draws than I hit the entire year off tee shots, right? And really 10 and 13 are the only ones I really need to move right to left. The other ones I can neutralize it and have it maybe fade a little bit less. But that was my issue. So I've slowly worked my way out to where now I can just show up and just feel comfortable on what tee shots I need to hit actual draws versus, okay, let's hit a little straight to a 5-yard cut.
Thank you.
Ryan?
Hey, Collin, I actually wanted to follow up on that. How did you come to that conclusion? Was there a moment? Was there a shot? Was it a conversation with Rick after last year's Masters?
No, I mean, it was just frustration of me missing a bunch of fairways and thinking these tee shots were, I was pretty much starting the hole uncomfortably, right? I mean, if I'm on 2, like give 2 for an example, and like I need to hit 2 pretty neutral, but if I'm on 2 trying to hit a draw and I feel very uncomfortable hitting a draw, I mean, I never hit a draw driver, ever. I mean, the only time is Sony on 18, but I'm trying to hit a 40-yard hook. Like, it's just not natural for me to do that. And it doesn't mean I can't play it, but it's just when you're over a shot and you want to hit a fairway and I can play it to my strength, why not? I mean, it doesn't mean you have to play it out on 2 right in the bunker and bring it in. Like, I can play it a little close to the trees, trust the cut, and just play from there.
How old were you when you first developed that shot shape?
I mean, going into college from high school, I was probably still hitting draws to neutralizing it out. Freshman year is pretty straight, and by the end of freshman year into sophomore year is when everything kind of worked its way to hitting cuts, and yeah.
John?
Collin, talking about how you played, what's the level of frustration when that's over and you've realized maybe it was just a bad decision, not necessarily you played bad, and then what's the level of anticipation coming into this week?
Well, it's always exciting whenever you show up to these majors, right? I mean, you want to be playing well, you want to be playing great for the 4 days when you tee it up. The frustrations are just more of like giving away shots to the field, and it's not like I made a bad decision here or there because, I mean, I don't think I was ever near the lead the past 2 years. But it's like, okay, we can get near the lead if we just stop making these mistakes. And that's the biggest thing is that, 3 putting, hitting tee shots in places I normally don't, missing them in places that I really shouldn't. I mean, you have to drive it pretty well out here, but you can get away with a little bit here or there on some holes. And I was just making it so much tougher because I was trying to hit these shots that, aren't my go-to shots.
Todd?
Well, in using 15 as an example, can they move a tee back 15 or 20 yards and really have that much of an impact on you guys and the decisions you'll ultimately make?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think if the wind the wind today was downwind, so I mean that helps. But if it's straight in the wind, instead of 220, I might have 240. And if you're 240 with a hard, firm green, you're going to think about it. You are 100% going to think about it. It's not like the layup's easy. I mean, the second shot to lay up is easy because you have a wide fairway, but then it's not like the wedge shot's easy either. So, yeah, it's going to make people think. I mean, the guys that hit, I'm right in the middle of distance, I think, and if guys were hitting 6 irons before and now they might have a 5 or 4 iron into the wind, it's going to make you think. It just all depends on how much roll, because like today, I hit it the same distance today, even though I teed up all the way back, than I did in the tournament for the 2 years. But during the tournament, into the wind, soft. So, it 100% makes a difference.
Is it one of the greatest decision-making holes out here that you guys face, do you think?
Out on tour?
Yeah.
That's a loaded question. That's
Go ahead.
I'm gonna pass on that. I mean,
Why, I'm sorry, why is it loaded?
I mean, yeah, it is you do have to think about it, but I mean, there's a lot of holes out there that you have to think. I mean,
Yeah. I guess,
nothing's coming to mind right now, but
yeah, I guess with the stature of the tournament more than anything.
like coming down the line on 15, I mean, I guess, but it's not going to make me change on how I play it. I'm not answering your question.
All right.
But,
All right.
Dale and then David. Dale first.
All right, thanks.
Yes, please.
Just curious, do you remember a time sitting down and watching the full 3 hours of the 97 Masters broadcast?
no.
Okay, so just highlights?
No, I'll say it again. History of golf kind of goes in one ear, comes out the other, goes in the eyes, exits somewhere. I remember shots here. So, quick story. We were on 18 today, and JJ's like, "Oh, you want to hit Mark's putt?" And I'm like, "Mark O'Meara's putt?" And I saw him last week. I talked to him a bunch, and he's been a great friend and someone I can just talk to about golf. And I was like, "What putt?" I had no clue what putt he had to win the Masters. So he drops the ball, and he was like, "Oh, I thought you would have known." I'm like, "No, I have zero clue." So as it comes to those things, I mean, I had to ask JJ today on 10. I was like, did Adam Scott, like the putt we always see Adam Scott win, was that on 10 or was that on 18? Or like things, yeah, it's bad.
And the changes to 11, what have those brought out in the hole?
I haven't played it,
Oh, okay.
so couldn't tell you.
David.
Hi, Collin. I'm fighting to consider if I should ask this question or not, since I'm, from the same town, La Cañada.
Oh, let's go. Nice.
Yeah, well, and then also I had two boys going to the same college as you.
Wonderful.
All right,
Congratulations.
so my question is a little weird. On that hero, last round,
Yeah.
maybe a lot of people ask you about that, all right?
No, actually, no.
Okay, well, I'll be the first one. Okay. Do you really, everybody has a bad round, golfer, pros, amateur. Does anything world ranking related on your mind bother you a little bit for that bad round or yours?
I mean, I knew what was on the line,
Okay, so
but
there was something on that. You
Well, yeah.
did thought about that, right?
Well, I mean, it's there. Yeah, I think if anyone says no, they're lying.
Okay.
They're lying to you.
Thank you very
I mean,
much. That was a very good answer. I really appreciate it. And then, are you getting married?
Yes. Yeah.
And my friend said, boys, when they get married, their game gets rusty. Ladies, when they get married, they want majors. You worry about that? Or it was a bad question you prefer not to answer?
I mean, no, I'm not worried.
Okay, that's good. Good luck.
I got two here. This one first and then over here.
Collin, I've heard you say this before several times. Why, when you've been so steeped in a sport as you have and so successful, do you know so little about it? Oh, the history of it. And although you've always been quite open about saying that, you said just now it went in one ear and out the other. Why is
Yeah.
that?
Things just don't stick in my head. Like I don't know. I mean, it's not like I don't respect it and don't take it the wrong way. Like I respect the sport fully, but I just want to win. I want to be out here and I want to make history. I want to remember. I mean, I've said it before. Like sometimes I don't have memory. Like the Open, go back to the Open. And people were asking me, what's your earliest memory? I really didn't have one. And that's, I just love playing the game. And, for me, history, it's something that I respect everything that has been in the past, and I want to learn from those guys. I love seeing it, but it's just, I don't know. Maybe I have other things taking up space in my head.
Yeah, all right. But when you were not playing,
Yeah.
surely you looked at golf stuff and thought about, and other people talked to you about it.
Yeah, but I need to separate myself when I'm out here. I mean, we're out here so much that if golf surrounded my entire life, I wouldn't be here. I'd be done. Like it would be frustrating to be out here because it would just be so tiring. But every time I take a break, every time I have an off week, I have to step away. You have to put your mind on other things. You got to do other things. I mean, that's the biggest thing if I want to have a long career, that if it is golf 24/7, and I go study everything and watch everything and remember everything. That's just not how my head works. I mean, movies, songs, I can't remember a single title. I mean, I can't remember what I watched 2 weeks ago.